Some people won't come for you with loud words. They won't insult you in public. They smile, they nod, they listen like they care. They may even call you a friend. But after time with them, you walk away feeling smaller. Your head feels foggy, and somehow you feel guilty even when you did nothing wrong. That pattern is not random. It's a quiet kind of hostility that hides under good manners. And it works because it's hard to prove. If you've ever felt this, stay with me. Because once you can name the pattern, you stop chasing their approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to keep the peace. Listen closely to what they do when you rise, when you speak, when you win, and when you finally react. The details matter, and your body notices long before your mind admits it. So let's move fast and make it clear. Source. The first move is simple. They give you doubt wrapped like care. It often shows up the moment you try to grow. You share a plan that lights you up. A new job idea, a creative project, a personal change you're proud of. You expect support. Instead, you hear, "Are you sure you can handle that?" Or, "That sounds risky, I just don't want you hurt." Sometimes it's even softer, like, "Wow, that's a big goal." And somehow it hits heavier than a direct insult, because they didn't block you. They made you question yourself. They plant one tiny question that turns into hesitation, then into fear, then into stopping. And once that seed is in you, they can sit back. You do the work for them. That isn't realism. That's their own fear dressed up as advice. Your courage reminds them of what they never tried, so they try to anchor you to their comfort. Quick retention check. Have you ever shared good news and felt your excitement drain in real time? That's not in your head. Source. Next comes confusion. With them, clarity never stays. They run hot and cold so you stay off balance. One day they're warm. They reply fast. They laugh at your jokes. You feel seen. Then the temperature drops without warning. Messages get short. They forget to respond. Eye contact disappears. Suddenly you're treated like an interruption. And now you're replaying every moment, searching for what you did wrong. Here's the thing. It's not just inconsistency, it's a control tactic. A little kindness, then a little distance, then kindness again, like a slot machine. If it never paid out, you'd leave. But because it pays out sometimes, you keep pulling the lever. You keep chasing the version of them that felt good. You adjust yourself, you become quieter, nicer, more careful, just to earn stability that should not need earning. Remember this, confusion is data. Healthy people don't keep you guessing where you stand. If you feel anxious and unsure around someone again and again, that feeling is already your answer. Source. Then there's the nice insult, the backhanded compliment. They rarely hit you directly because that would reveal them. So they praise you in a way that leaves a bruise. You look great for your age. I respect how confident you are to wear that. The words sound positive, but your chest tightens. You smile, but it doesn't feel good. That reaction matters, because this is passive aggression with a clean mask. If you call it out, they can flip it fast. "I was being kind. Why are you so sensitive?" Now the spotlight is on your reaction, not their hidden jab. That's the trick. They get to hurt you and still look polite. Under it, there's usually envy. Something about you presses on what they haven't faced in themselves. Your confidence, your progress, your freedom to be real. So they chip at you in small, deniable ways. A real compliment makes you feel lighter. This kind makes you feel like you need to explain yourself. Don't. Stop thanking people for an insult just because it came in pretty rapping. Stay with me, because the next one is even louder when it's quiet. Source. Watch what happens when you share a win, a promotion, a milestone, a moment you're proud of. Someone who secretly dislikes you usually won't celebrate. They go silent. They change the subject. They look away, or they suddenly start talking about themselves. Sometimes they don't respond at all, like your success never happened. That silence is heavy on purpose. Your growth holds up a mirror they don't want to face. Your joy highlights where they feel stuck. So instead of sharing the moment with you, they erase it. And the pattern gets sharper when you're struggling. When you fail or fall apart, they become attentive, curious, supportive. They want details. Why? Because your pain puts you back in a position that feels comfortable to them, below, not ahead. Real people don't compete with your happiness. They clap for you like it's theirs too. If someone disappears when you shine, believe the message. Silence can be a statement. Quick check. Who gets quiet when you're doing well, but shows up when you're not? Keep that answer. Parsor. Another move is social isolation, done quietly in the background. They don't always attack you one-on-one. Sometimes they reshape the room around you until you feel alone, even with people nearby. You see it in group settings, inside jokes you weren't part of, plans made in front of you followed by, "Oh, I thought you knew." Conversations that slide around you like you're not there. You're present, but you're edited out. That is not an accident. Social exclusion is one of the oldest forms of aggression because humans are wired to belong. The unspoken message is simple: you don't fully belong here. Sometimes they add a second layer by planting tiny doubts about you and other people. They're kind of sensitive. They take things the wrong way. Nothing dramatic, just enough to shift how others see you. Over time, distance grows and they become the gatekeeper. And if you start feeling grateful just to be included, the power flip is complete. Don't make the mistake of trying harder to earn a seat. Real people pull up a chair for you. If you have to beg for belonging, it's not community, it's control. Source. The last one is the most dangerous because it steals your self-trust. They push and poke until they can hand you your own anger and then blame you for it. It starts small. They cross little boundaries, dismiss your feelings, deny things they clearly said. They make sly comments, then act calm and innocent. They stay composed while pressing every button they know you have. You hold it in. You try to be mature. You try to be understanding until one day you snap. You raise your voice. You cry. You react in a way that doesn't feel like you. And that's the moment they were waiting for. Suddenly, they act shocked. Suddenly, you're too much. They use your reaction as proof that you're the problem. They erase the long line of disrespect that led up to it. And if you're a good person, you might even believe them. You apologize. You feel ashamed. But hear this clearly. You are not crazy for reacting to ongoing disrespect. Healthy people don't push you to the edge and then punish you for falling. They repair. They take responsibility. Toxic people manufacture conflict so they can play the victim. If you recognized even one of these patterns, don't ignore it. At some point, staying becomes a choice, and so does leaving. Sometimes the strongest boundary isn't an argument. It's your absence. Source. Some people don't come at you with open hate. They don't yell. They don't call you names. They smile. They listen. They nod like they understand you. They might even say, "I'm your friend." But every time you leave their presence, you feel a little smaller. Your mind feels scrambled. Your stomach feels tight. And somehow you walk away carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you. That is not random. It's a quiet kind of dislike that hides behind polite behavior. It's hard to prove, which is why it lasts so long. If you've been feeling this, don't scroll away yet, because the moment you recognize the pattern, you stop chasing their approval and you start protecting your peace. Quick question. Have you ever felt drained after talking to someone who did nothing wrong? That's the clue. Stay with me, because the signs are subtle, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. Unsource. One of the first things they give you is doubt, delivered softly like concern. It usually appears right when you try to grow. You share a plan you're excited about, a new career move, a creative idea, a personal change you're proud of. You expect support. Instead, you get a pause, a tilted head, a careful sentence like, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" Or, "That seems risky, I just don't want you getting hurt." They rarely say, "Bad idea," because that would expose them. They prefer questions that make you question yourself. And that's the trick. They don't stop you directly. They make you stop yourself. They plant one small seed that turns into hesitation, then insecurity, then delay, then quitting. And once that seed is inside you, they can relax. You do the rest for them. It's not honesty, it's fear wearing a friendly mask. Your courage reminds them of what they didn't do, so they try to keep you close to their comfort zone. Retention check. If someone always has concerns only when you're leveling up, that's not love. Source. Then comes confusion. With them, the relationship never feels clear. They run hot and cold so you stay emotionally off balance. One day they're warm, responsive, interested. They laugh fast. They reply quickly. You feel safe, like you matter. Then suddenly the temperature drops. Messages go unanswered. Replies become short, delayed, and dry. Eye contact fades. You feel like you're bothering them just by existing. And now you're replaying every conversation in your head, hunting for the moment you messed up. But here's the truth. It's often not a mood. It's a method. A little warmth, then distance, then warmth again, like a slot machine. If it never rewarded you, you'd walk away. But because it rewards you sometimes, you keep pulling the lever. You start chasing the good version of them. You adjust your tone. You shrink your needs. You become extra careful, trying to earn back stability that should have been normal from day one. Remember this line: confusion is information. Healthy people don't keep you guessing where you stand. Source. Another move is the nice insult, also known as the backhanded compliment. People who secretly dislike you often won't attack you directly because they want to look innocent. So they praise you in a way that stings. You look good for your age. I admire your confidence to wear something like that. You're brave to post that. The words sound positive on the surface, but your body feels the hidden barb. Your chest tightens, your smile becomes forced, and then you feel confused because technically they said something nice. That confusion is exactly what protects them. If you react, they can flip it instantly. I was being kind. Why are you so sensitive? Now the attention moves from their cruelty to your reaction. That's the shield. They get to lower your value while keeping a clean image. Underneath, it's often envy. Something about you triggers what they haven't healed in themselves. Your confidence, your progress, your authenticity. So they chip away at you in small, deniable ways. Real compliments feel warm and simple. These leave residue. Trust that signal. Source. Now watch what happens when you share good news. A win. A milestone. A moment of pride. This is where the mask slips without a single word. People who secretly hate you often don't celebrate your wins. They go quiet. They change the subject fast. They look away. They suddenly talk about their own life. Sometimes they don't respond at all, like you never spoke. And the silence feels heavy, because it is. Your success becomes a mirror they don't want to face. Your progress highlights where they feel stuck. Your joy reminds them of their own dissatisfaction. So instead of joining your moment, they erase it. And the pattern becomes even clearer when you're struggling. When you fail, when you're heartbroken, when things fall apart, suddenly they're attentive. They lean in. They want details. They look supportive. Why? Because your pain makes them feel bigger. It puts you back in a place that feels safe to them, beneath them, not beyond them. Real people don't go missing when you shine. They clap loudly and mean it. If someone disappears during your happiest moments, believe the message. Source. Another sign is isolation, and it's one of the coldest because it happens in crowds. They don't always confront you directly. Sometimes they work behind the scenes, slowly shifting the social space around you until you start feeling alone. You might notice it in group settings, inside jokes you weren't part of, plans made in front of you followed by, "Oh, I thought you knew." Conversations that subtly exclude you while everyone acts normal. You're physically present but emotionally erased. That is not accidental. Social exclusion hits deep because humans are wired for belonging. The unspoken message is cruel and simple. You don't fully belong here. And sometimes they add a second layer by planting small doubts about you and other people. Tiny comments that sound harmless. They're just sensitive. They take things the wrong way. Not dramatic, just enough to bend how people see you. Over time, you feel grateful just to be tolerated, and that's when control is complete. Don't chase inclusion in rooms where respect is missing. Real people build bridges and pull you in. Anyone who makes you beg for belonging is not offering community. Source. The most dangerous move is when they try to hand you your own anger and then blame you for it. This is the trap that makes calm, patient, self-aware people start thinking they're the problem. It builds slowly. They cross small boundaries. They dismiss your feelings. They deny things they clearly said. They provoke you with little smirks, subtle remarks, and quiet disrespect. They stay calm on purpose while pressing every button they know you have. You hold it together for a long time. You try to be mature, you try to communicate, you try to stay kind, until one day you don't. You snap, you raise your voice, you cry, you react in a way that doesn't feel like you, and that's the moment they were waiting for. They step back, acting shocked, acting innocent. See, this is what I deal with. You're so emotional. They use your reaction as proof that you're unstable. They erase the long chain of disrespect that led you there. And the worst part is you might believe them. You apologize, you feel ashamed, but hear this clearly. Reacting to repeated disrespect does not make you crazy. Healthy people don't push you to the edge and then punish you for falling. They repair, they take responsibility, they care about peace, not power. Source. Put all of this together and you'll see the pattern. Doubt when you grow, confusion to control you, polite insults to shrink you, silence when you win, isolation in groups, and provocation that turns your reaction into their weapon. These aren't tiny quirks. They are repeated behaviors, red flags that keep waving until you stop looking away. If you recognize even one of these consistently, don't talk yourself out of it. Don't label your intuition as overthinking. Your nervous system is reading the room before your mind can explain it, and you don't need a dramatic betrayal to justify distance. Sometimes the evidence is simply how you feel after every interaction. Smaller, foggier, tense, guilty, and tired. Quick retention line. If someone only feels good to be around when you're doing bad, that's not a friend. That's a spectator. You deserve people who celebrate you, communicate clearly, and never need you to shrink so they can feel big. At some point, staying becomes a choice, and so does leaving. Sometimes the strongest boundary isn't an argument, it's absence. Source: